and then I dropped out for like 10 years. Like I know everyone's like, Joan, you look fucking young. Like, what the heck? Who are you?
In my mind, I was like, how old is she?
I'm 28. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. Just be like, no, just do it. Like, everyone's, you know, a human being. We all do similar things or whatever. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I'm a complete introvert, but like YouTube is like, it almost forces you to make connections and talk to people. And that's why I like it.
Do you like hang out with any other like I don't want to say just YouTubers, that sounds so weird. But like, do you hang out with like are a lot of your friends like creatives, or do you just, I don't know, like
all my friends from school, none of them are creative. They've all actually got like well-paid jobs. Like none of them, from my hometown. But then most of my like new friends, they're all through creative industries or photography or jobs. So generally, it's probably like 50-50, which for me is a really nice balance. Because sometimes like you just need someone to break you out your bubble. Like, it doesn't matter, your film hasn't arrived.
Yeah. Well, also it's good to just have like, you know, when you're like sick and tired of like photo, you have like these other people to branch out to and just talk about whatever they're into.
Yeah, it's just nice to talk about anything other than photography. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for me, it's so hard to like meet, like, let's say like a guy, because the guy always like tries to be smooth and thinks that talking about photography is gonna like win my heart type of thing, and I'm like, no. That means that you don't know anything about me besides that.
Yeah, they just take it and run with it. It's just like, but of course I got with it. Like, no, photography. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know where this is going. It's like, no. And then when they try to pretend that they know stuff about it, you're just like, don't even try.
See, like, for me, I love it if they're like, let's go on a photo walk. That's perfect for me. Let's go take photos.
Yeah.
But when they pretend, you're like, oh, like, are you mansplaining it to me? I can't tell, or are you just excited? Like,
yeah. So it's like this. It's like, I don't know if you're genuine or not or whatever. But it's interesting because most of the guys that I've spoken to, like YouTube-wise, they're all like, you know, in relationships and stuff like that. So then we had these conversations about how either if their partner is like a creative, and how does that work, you know, being both creatives, or you're with someone and they're like totally not, you know, into like doing the same thing or whatever. So that was like an interesting
I don't think I've ever dated someone creative.
No? Is that a preference or?
No, it's just complete coincidence. It's always like a yin and yang for me. Like, if I date someone I can take their photo, that's perfect for me. They don't have to be into photography, but if I can take their photo, then that's what I like.
You know, for me, like sometimes people don't like to put their like significant other, you know, in public, you know, or just make it so cheesy that they just have their partner everywhere. So for me, my always go-to is like have the back of their head in my shots, you know. So it's like, even if like things don't work out, it's not so obvious who it is. Yeah, friends.
You know, my enemy is gonna have all these back of head shots for like clean.
That'll be like my new photo book eventually.
It says so much.
Yeah. So actually, I never even thought of it like that. But yeah, that was always like, hey, can I take a photo of you? I know you don't like want to be seen, so just turn around and then I take your photo. But it does make me sad somewhat if I can't photograph like my partner. That's just weird. Like, I'm just
like sometimes if I'm like out with them, I'm like, oh, this light's so perfect, and you stand there. If they're like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to get a stranger to stand there now.
Yeah, so that's why, as long as like you said, like, they're not necessarily have to be in the field, but as long as they understand why you do what you do,
and understand why you stand like in the same spot for ages, waiting for that shadow to come around.
Yeah.
And I don't get you to move on. Yeah.
Or for me, it's like you're like both walking, almost like you're just like stopped behind, and they just keep going. They're like, what the hell? Like, what
the amount of times I've seen that look when you've stopped and they go,
yeah.
Like, just 1 second, just 1 second. If I told you, I would have missed it.
Yeah. And then you're just like, look, see? And then they're just like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool. And they're like so oblivious to it.
Yeah. Or when they ask to see, like, oh, it's on film.
Yeah, oh, that too. That's like another conversation that you're like, why do you do this and all of that?
Right, yeah. Why are you spending all your money on it? Like, oh.
Yeah, so like, I just got a Super 8 camera like a few weeks ago, and my approach is like I want to capture a bunch of skaters. I don't know. That's like my side like interest, and so I've been like going, even though New York City is the one place you don't want to go to, as of right now, but it's right, nearby. So for me, I would just go to the places where I know skaters would be, and I approach them. I don't know, like for people, right? They don't like, especially street photography. They don't like to reach out or ask permission. They just like think that they could just shoot and go, right? And hopefully people don't spot them. But for me, it bothers me so much, and sometimes I feel like you never know who you're going to encounter by approaching. But I also get the idea, like you'll miss the opportunity if you like wait and then talk to them and you don't get the moment or whatever. So it's like a double-edged sword. So pretty much I would go up to the skaters though, and I'd be like, hey, I have a Super 8 camera, like can I film you or whatever? And then they're just like, yeah, sure, like wow, you actually asked, and I was like, yeah, because I don't want to be a creeper, like this random girl in the background just holding like,
it's so obvious as well, Super 8. That's what I'm like. If I take like a medium format and you're just there, like, don't, it's fine, I'm not here. It's like, you have to.
No, that's like the biggest, like, I love, like, literally, I shot yesterday. I have like my Yashica. Like, it's just the easiest, like, no one knows, right?
Yeah.
But like the Super is fucking
it looks really dodgy.
But there is a guy that told me, he was like, oh no, there are like older people, like men, I guess, that are like photographers and they have those like huge telephoto lens. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, no.
You couldn't look more creepy if you tried.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It's so weird. Like, I'm so into skateboarding and photography and stuff. I can't skate to save my life.
Oh my god.
I've always been, like, when I was a kid, I'd just be sitting there watching the X Games. Like, I've no connection to skateboarding, but I've just always been obsessed. And I buy like all the skateboarding magazines. Like, I love the photography of it.
Yeah.
Never skated in my life. Like, I don't know. It's just something about it. It's so weird.
This conversation is like building. I don't want to like be like all crazy talking about skateboarding in case you are not interested, but like, oh my god, like literally this whole quarantine, like, because school just finished 2 weeks ago, like any free time I'm watching skate videos and everyone's like, why you're not even skating? I'm like, I don't know, it just like makes me feel like I just am outside, or I don't know. And I went on this big, when you start getting interested in something, you get into this big hole, right? So for me, it's like Spike Jonze, which is like one of my favorite directors. And so if we were following each other on Instagram earlier, you would see me being so obsessed with Beastie Boys lately. And Spike Jonze just came out with his book with them, like photo book. And then with the book, I mean, it's the Beastie Boys, it's not skaters, but I mean, obviously he's known for his skate videos too before he made those movies that he's known for now. So anyways, I don't know, there's just something that's like very gritty and old school that I just love about these skate videos that I'm like, you just will never find now that you see on YouTube. I don't know, there's just me and the look and everything. So but actually today, so my friend, she's here, she literally was like, we're gonna go skate today, and you just see me like, she's like posting on like recording me, and I'm like just like one leg, it's just like the other leg still on the board. It's like I'm not all on board, and I was like, just give me a second, I'll like build the momentum to like go. And she was laughing because like the pavement, for me, I'm thinking so much in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna hit a rock, a stick, some shit, yeah, and then I'm just gonna like fly, and then that's it. I do an interview, and then I talk to you, and I can't do it. I was like singing so in my head, but then I was like, once I found like a nice street, I was like, okay, we could do it, and I could do that. But once you ask down, forget it. Like, I don't know how people do that, but I know.
A lot of times I've stood there going, nah, I can't.
Especially the bowl, when they like, forget
literally, it blows my, it's so funny because my first ever like celebrity crush was Ryan Sheckler. I don't know if you know him, this game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even from America. None of my friends are interested in skateboarding, and then every time it comes up at like the pub, like, oh, who was your first celebrity crush? And I'm like, Ryan. And then I get off all the old skateboarding videos on YouTube. I'm like, this is old school, this is proper.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, Everyone does it. Sometimes what's that? You can't help what the heart wants type of
Right.
whatever that means.
I mean, I wish I could, but yeah.
I don't think he skates anymore. Well, not as much. Yeah, I don't know. I was like,
He's probably like retired by now. It's been so long ago.
That's why I was like watching, you just binge watch from one skater to the other, and like I don't know if you have Hulu, but Hulu right now is dropping so many skating documentaries.
No, we don't have it.
Oh my god! So like oh my god! Like literally, I'm just like next one, just keeps watching and watching. But yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, no,
that's a whole other video for us.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the thing. When I find some connection with the person I'm talking to, we're like, fuck, we gotta make another video.
Literally.
Yeah. But no, actually, I'll show you this just because you're into this. Even oh my god. So this is how dedicated I am. I don't skate, but I have this.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
God, yeah. Jesus Christ. But yeah. That's just like my hope that one day it'll become something of use or just on my wall. I don't know. Yeah, but what I was gonna say is but that's weird. For me, I feel like no one would expect like she'd be interested in doing like skateboarding photos, and I'm like, hell yeah, like bring me to a skate park, I'll just be like capturing nonstop.
Yeah, I know sometimes people feel like you don't have a life before you started photography.
Yeah,
and I was like, I was in my late teens when I started it. Like I had a load of other interests, but sometimes they get you on photography and then that's what you talk about.
Yeah. So okay, like going back, so I know you major in photo, but like okay, so how did it start, and then like from then on? That might be a whole story, but
don't ask me how I got. It's so embarrassing.
Why?
So when I went to college, well, like I think maybe high school over there, so I was like 16. You had to like pick what subjects you want to do, and so like I was a complete nerd, loved science, like that was what I was going to do. And so I ticked everything, and I thought I ticked physics.
Yeah.
But then I get my timetable, and I'm like, fuck, I ticked photography. And I was like, this isn't bad. Like, all my friends were in hysterics. So I went to the admissions people, and I was like, look at me. I'm not a photographer. I need to do physics. And like, no problem. You have to just go to a couple classes, and then we'll swap you over. So I went to my first class, and they're like, here's a roll of film, here's a camera, go out and shoot, come back, and we're in the dark room. And then from then on, I was like, okay, I want to do photography. Then I marched back down, and I was like, yeah, scrap that, I'm just going to do photography. And they're like, oh my God, just get out.
Were your parents like supportive of you doing it, or what are their thoughts?
I think my mum is still coming to terms with it.
No, my mom she's still like in the midst of everything. Yeah,
like 100% supportive, but just like a bit like, because like up until like 16, 17, like I was going to do science, sports science, something like I'd been set since like the age of 5. I just loved it. Yeah. And then I sat down and I was like, I'm going to do photography. And just, sorry? Yeah. And I'm going to university for it. Oh, okay.
So then those classes in high school was still film, like analog photography, and then when your first year of uni, is it still analog, or you just do digital?
Yeah, still analog, which I picked my uni specifically because I had a dark room. Okay. And I don't know, I was so naive, but when I was looking around unis, so many people didn't have dark rooms.
Yeah.
And I just knew, I was like, it has to have a dark room.